When you gonna get a car?
Hey, why don't you get a car?
I can't afford it. Not a big one, baby. Hold on to it now.
Oh, you want to fight?
You seek a great fortune, we who are now in chain. You will find a fortune, though it will not be the fortune you seek.
I love to dance. Before my wife passed, we always danced to Johnny Mathis.
So where's your shirt?
Where is my shirt? Ah! I'm fucking naked!
Oh, come on.
Hey!
How does someone start acting in 1955? Marry an actress who starred in an Oscar-winning film, have a jazz legend write a song about him, play an exhibitionist named Buck Naked on network television, and still be working at 95 years old with the same wife after 54 years?
Yeah, my man's gonna get it on tonight. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you better get on me, too.
What is wrong with this woman?
Lee Weaver, born April 10th, 1930 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The man who voiced Alpine in G.I. Joe.
Where did you see him last? Go back there. If he doesn't come back, ask a policeman for help.
Hey, it's Alpine and my scared brother.
The actor who worked with Will Smith appeared in a Coen Brothers film and showed up on everything from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, well, if it's half as sweet as she is, maybe you might save me a slice.
Yo, that's a good line, Ed.
To It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You shall see things wonderful to tell. You shall see a cow.
But here's what nobody talks about. Lee Weaver's most memorable role was playing an exuberant exhibitionist named Buck Naked on two of television's biggest cop dramas. And while Hollywood marriages were imploding left and right, Lee quietly built a 54-year relationship with actress ta-tanisha that's still going strong in 2025. No scandals, no drama, just 7 decades of consistent work and a marriage that outlasted most people's lives. And oh, did you know he sings and also plays the guitar?
It begins to tell. Round midnight.
This man is truly a talent all around. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, April 10th, 1930. Lee Weaver was born to Josephine and Primus Jest Weaver. His father was a cook, working-class family, the kind where acting wasn't even on the radar. You work, you survive, you provided. But young Lee had something, a presence, a voice that commanded attention. Because Lee Weaver had a best friend growing up, a childhood friend who would become one of the most important jazz musicians of all time, Cannonball Adderley. Yes, the legendary saxophonist who played with Miles Davis, the musician who helped define the hard bop genre. Lee and Cannonball grew up together, and they stayed friends for life. So close that when Cannonball got married, guess who was the best man? Lee Weaver. Not a fellow musician, not a jazz celebrity. His childhood friend, Lee, the actor. The guy who understood him before the fame, before the albums, before the legend. In 1963, Cannonball Adderley released an album called Nippon Soul. On that album, there's a composition by jazz great Yusef Lateef, and the song is called The Weaver. Not just any song, a song specifically about Lee Weaver. And in the album's liner notes, Cannonball Adderley introduces it by saying,
is dedicated to a friend of ours in New York who is a dear friend to everyone in the band, kind of a jive cat with a beautiful cat. His name is Weaver, Lee Weaver. So the tune sounds something like Lee Weaver.
In 1977, Lee appeared on The Jeffersons as the original mailman in episode 227. Small role, but it was work.
Wow, am I glad to see you.
Why, Mr. Jefferson?
That's exactly what I mean.
Then in 1985, Lee landed a gig that would make him famous to an entire generation of kids. He became the voice of Alpine in the animated television series G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero.
G.I. Joe, the most exciting adventure ever.
For those who don't know, G.I. Joe was massive in the 80s. Every kid watched it. Every kid had toys. And Lee Weaver was voicing Alpine, one of the main characters. From 1985 to 1986, Lee brought Alpine to life.
Nothing like a little on-the-job training.
Kids across America were hearing Lee's voice without even knowing it. And those kids grew up, got older, had their own kids. And Lee's voice as Alpine became a nostalgic memory. Then from 1986 to 1987, Lee played Ricardo on the television series Easy Street.
Well, it is, bully. Once you get an idea in your head, you just go crazy.
Recurring role, consistent paycheck. The kind of work that builds a career. But then came the role that would define Lee's entire career. The role people still talk about. The role with the most memorable name in television history, Buck Naked. Yes, Buck Naked, an exhibitionist on network television.
So where's your shirt?
Where is my shirt? Ah! I'm buck naked!
Oh, come on, let's...
Hey! All aboard the color!
And Lee Weaver made him iconic. But here's the wild part. Buck Naked appeared on 2 different shows, Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue, both Stephen Bochco police dramas, both critically acclaimed, both Emmy-winning. And Lee played the same exuberant exhibitionist character on both. Think about the skill it takes, playing a character that could easily be creepy or offensive, and making him funny, making him likable, making him someone the audience wanted to see again. That's not just acting. That's mastery. Because Buck Naked wasn't a one-time joke. He was a recurring character that spanned 2 different shows over multiple years. And the name, Buck Naked, that's television gold. A character name that's also a punchline. A role that Lee played with such enthusiasm that Stephen Bochco brought him back multiple times. While other actors were fighting for serious dramatic roles, Lee was playing an exhibitionist and stealing every scene he was in. But Lee didn't stop there. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, he kept working. In 1997, he appeared on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, playing Ed Downer, a handyman who became the boyfriend of Philip Banks' mother.
As half as sweet as she is, maybe you might save me a slice.
Yo, that's a good line, Ed. I have to use that one myself.
Recurring role, multiple episodes, working with Will Smith, with James Avery, holding his own with one of the biggest sitcom casts of the 90s. Then in 2000, Lee appeared in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, the Coen brothers film, the one with George Clooney. Lee played a blind seer, small role, but in a film that would become a cult classic. Lee Weaver was in it.
Yea, you hearts grow weary, still shall ye follow them, even unto your salvation.
He also appeared on One World in 2000, guest spot on The Cosby Show as a waiter. And then in 2007, something unexpected. Lee Weaver appeared on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a junkyard owner, one of the most irreverent, darkest comedies on television. And 77-year-old Lee showed up and fit right in.
Wait a minute, believe me, that's a tough cat. I've seen that cat jump through barbed wire into a vat of hot top.
Think about the range. From voicing G.I. Joe's character to play Buck Naked, the exhibitionist, to appear on It's Always Sunny. From jazz-themed albums to Oscar-winning films to sitcoms, Lee worked in every corner of the industry. No role was too small, no genre was off limits. He even did a commercial for Burger King in 2001. Because when you've been working for 46 years at that point, you take the work that comes. And it all adds up. The residuals, the paychecks, the consistency, which brings us to money. As of 2025, Lee Weaver's estimated net worth sits at approximately $1 million to $3 million. Not mega rich, not I own a private jet money, but for someone who's 95 years old and has been working since 1955, that's sustainable wealth. That's smart. Especially when you live in the Bronx instead of Beverly Hills, when you don't chase the Hollywood lifestyle, when you just work, save, and build. Lee had residuals from G.I. Joe, residuals from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, residuals from all those TV appearances, the Burger King commercial, guest spots across 7 decades. It all adds up. And when you're married to someone who also worked in the industry, who also brought an income, who also understood the financial game, you build something lasting. Which brings us back to the marriage, because this is where Lee's story becomes truly remarkable. July 10th, 1971 to 2025, 54 years in Hollywood, where Kim Kardashian's marriage lasted 72 days, where celebrity relationships are measured in tabloid cycles, where till death do us part usually means till the next movie premiere. So how did they do it? first, they both understood the industry. Ta-Tanisha was an actress. She knew the long hours, the rejection, the hustle. She wasn't sitting at home wondering why Lee was on set for 16 hours. She'd been there. Second, they lived in the Bronx. Not Hollywood, not Beverly Hills. The Bronx, where ta-Tanisha was raised, where they could have a normal life, where their kids could grow up without paparazzi, where they were just Lee Weaver and ta-Tanisha, not industry people. Third, they had separate careers. Tanisha had The Sting and her other projects. Lee had Buck Naked and G.I. Joe and everything else. They supported each other without consuming each other. No competition, no jealousy, just two people who respected each other's work. Fourth, they made the blended family work. Ta-Tanisha, daughter Latette from her previous marriage, Lee embraced her. They had their own child together. They built a family. No drama, no step-parent tension, just love. That's 54 years in 2025. That's longer than most people's entire lives. That's longer than most Hollywood careers. And Lee Weaver and ta-Tanisha just kept going. His most recent appearance was as Kendall in Frenemies at 95 years old. Most people are retired by 65. Lee Weaver is still showing up on set at 95, still delivering lines, still being a professional after 70 years. Think about this. Lee Weaver has been working since Dwight Eisenhower was president. He started when television was still black and white. He worked through the civil rights movement, through every cultural shift, through the rise of cable, through the streaming revolution. 7 decades. And he's still going. He never became a household name, never got Emmy nominations, never had a show built around him, but he worked for 70 years, consistently, supporting his family, building a legacy, creating memories for multiple generations. Kids who watched G.I. Joe in the 80s knew his voice. People who watched Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue remember Buck Naked. Fresh Prince fans remember him. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Fans remember him. It's Always Sunny fans remember him. He's woven into so many people's childhoods and memories without them even realizing it. And through all of it, ta-Tanisha was there, the woman from Detroit who was in The Sting, the actress who understood the grind, the wife who built a 54-year marriage in an industry where 6 months is considered long-term. They live in the Bronx, they raised their kids, they worked, they survived, they thrived. No scandals, no messy divorces, no tabloid drama, no "where are they now" articles with tragic endings. Just two people who met in 1971, got married, raised a family, worked in Hollywood, and made it to 2025 together. That's not just rare, that's almost mythical. So what happened to Lee Weaver? Nothing happened to him. He just kept going for 70 years, with the same woman by his side since 1971. Building a legacy one role at a time. From Fort Lauderdale to Hollywood to the Bronx, from 1955 to 2025. Still married, still working, still here. That's not just a career. That's not just a marriage. That's a masterclass in longevity, loyalty, and doing the work.